Gao Yi, a man whose net worth soared into the billions, was about to enjoy the kind of night most men only dreamed of, with his stunning secretary, when fate interrupted. Just as things were heating up, he was abruptly summoned to another world. He found himself standing naked atop a fountain, completely unaware of how he got there. People in the street gasped in shock. Women quickly covered their children's eyes, but the men? They didn't even try to look away. Yikes! Someone shouted. A curvy girl with tears in her eyes rushed forward. I finally did it! I summoned the hero of justice! Gao Yi grabbed her by the arm and pushed her to a wall. Who are you? Where am I? And why the hell am I here? Eyes shut tightly, the girl shoved a cloth into his hand. Please put this on. I earn 300,000 per second. You've got 5 seconds to explain, he growled. I'm Priestess Emma of the Destiny Church. The Lords of Apocalypse are awakening. Only 5 heroes of virtue can stop them. You're one of them. Gao slipped on the shirt. I'll pass. Emma blinked. Why? You're the chosen hero. I'm busy becoming the richest man alive. Send me back. It's a one-way ritual, she said. We can't. Gao leaned out the tower window. My $43.7 billion! My company! Damn it! Emma clung to his waist. You can't jump! His stomach growled. Emma, unfazed, pulled out a hard, ancient chaff bun. Never abandon hope, Lord Hero. She beamed. It's been too long since I faced a real setback, he muttered, snatching the bun. Time is money. Talk while I eat. A single bite is all it takes to make him scream. You gave me a rock? Emma licked the bun. You soften it with saliva first. Was that really all your food? I saved it for you. I haven't eaten in 5 days. He twitched. You starved yourself for this, brick? She beamed. I wanted to honor the hero. Exasperated, he asked why her church didn't support her. Saving the world isn't work, it's a sacred mission. He slammed his palms against the wall beside her. Let me get this straight, you dragged me here, for free? She nodded cheerfully. Goddamn bargain bin world, he muttered. Emma confidently revealed the sword, obsidian black with gold runes that glowed like lightning. She told Gao Yi it was his, the imperial sword of justice. Its true power, she said, would unlock after he selflessly helped 100 people. Gao Yi asked if it truly belonged to him. Emma nodded and confirmed it did. After a brief glance at the weapon, Gao Yi took it to a grimy pawn shop and slapped it on the counter, telling the shopkeeper to assess its value. Emma demanding to know what he was doing. He reminded her it was his to use, and at the moment, money mattered more than destiny. Emma, visibly shaken, insisted the sword was legendary, an ancient artifact with millennia of history. Gao Yi raised an eyebrow. Legendary? He repeated. Emma, misreading his tone, took it as admiration and eagerly agreed. He turned to the shopkeeper, saying, You heard her.
The old man's eyes gleamed as he examined the blade. The craftsmanship is exquisite, worth at least 500 gold crocks. But these rubes don't know that. He coughed into his sleeve. Well, lad. The texture's rough, the gold's just foil. I'll burden myself and offer 200 gold crocks. Gao Yi grabbed Emma's wrist. Let's leave. Emma brightened. Lord Hero, you've come to your senses. No, Gao Yi said flatly. I just met a dishonest businessman. The shopkeeper's composure cracked. Don't run, lad. We can negotiate. Gao Yi smirked inwardly, rejecting the first offer outright, the oldest trick in the book. Minutes later, they sat in plush chairs, steaming tea and delicate pastries before them. Emma stared at the cookies, drool pooling in her mouth. Can we eat these? Of course. The shopkeeper beamed before turning to Gao Yi. Now, sir, what should I call? I don't waste time with amateurs, Gao Yi interrupted. Fetch your manager. The old man paled. But the manager? Never mind. One moment. As he scurried off, Gao Yi glanced at Emma, still staring at the cookies. Why aren't you eating? You're starving. Emma shoved the cookies toward him. You have them, Lord Hero. Emma clutching her rock-hard chaff bun despite the feast before her. Gao Yi sighed. Let me guess. You think eating these would mean profiting from selling the sword. And as the hero's priestess, that'd make you guilty. Tears spilled down Emma's cheeks as she nibbled her bun. Why? Why sell the imperial sword? It's yours. Gao Yi knelt before her. Emma, he said, voice dripping with sincerity, a hero must be practical. We need funds to actually save this world. His grip tightened. I swear on my honor, I'll make this up to you. But I can't do it alone. He met her eyes, the very picture of devotion. Will you stand with me? He reached out, his hand steady but eyes burning with compassion. Emma's breath caught in her throat. For a split second, time froze, then she grasped his hand. You bet, she said in voice low. Gao Yi's expression darkened behind her back. Score. As she finally devour a cookie. But in the next breath, he turned back to Emma. Listen to me, Emma, he said, when the manager arrives, we have to cooperate. Emma barely glanced up, still munching. The door creaked open. Gao Yi sipped his tea, smirking behind the cup. Perfect. An older manager means easier negotiations. A pair of fluffy bunny ears poked through the doorway first. Then emerged their owner, a flustered demi-human girl with cheeks pinker than cherry blossoms. Did you really need me here for the bargain? Golly. She fidgeted with her apron strings. If my presence matters that much to you, I guess I should be all ears. Splurt. Tea sprayed from Gao Yi's mouth. He whirled toward Emma. You're sure this is your manager and not a customer service bunny girl? But Emma was already airborne. How adorable. Pounce. Both hands clamped around the bunny girl's ears. The manager trembled like a leaf in a hurricane. Hands off my ears, golly. Gao Yi intervened, hauling Emma back by her collar like a misbehaving kitten. You can't just pounce on someone's ears. How very rude. Right, I'm sorry. Emma dangled mid-air, sheepish. I just couldn't help myself. The bunny girl exhaled in relief. Thank gods, at least this man's normal. Gao Yi straightened his cuffs with exaggerated grace. Take after me and ask with courtesy. He flashed a smile worthy of a romance novel cover. Sorry, Miss Gorgeous, but might I have a turn with those exquisite ears? Bunny's pupils shrank to pinpricks. Golly, he's even more lecherous. Once they were seated, Gao Yi's whole attitude changed, like flipping a switch. Sorry about the theatrics, he said with a grin. Just trying to lighten the mood. Then, with an overly serious tone that was clearly put on, he said, I am Gordon G. Paywood, a nobleman from faraway lands. The tale unfolded. His father, a gluttonous, merciless feudal lord, ruled with a fist of iron and a heart of wrought. He drained his peasants dry, feasted on their labor, and died choking on his own excess, leaving his son to inherit both his wealth and his sins. For a time, the son followed the same path, drowning in wine and indulgence. Then came Emma, the priestess, a woman whose quiet strength cut through the darkness. Wealth is a chain, she told him, and you are drowning in gold. Her words struck like lightning. 5 years of repentance followed. He sold his jewels, opened his granaries, and knelt in prayer until his knees ached. Where his father had taken, he gave. Where his father had sneered, he served. Now, standing before her, his voice was raw with gratitude. It was she who taught me compassion, he said, hand trembling. She who helped me find my conscience. The ghosts of his past lingered, but for the first time, he faced them with clean hands. Tears welled in the bunny manager's eyes. And Mr. Gordon, you're incredible. Golly. She sniffled. I'm Dorkaka, manager here. Gao Yi presented the sword. Then appraise this heirloom flawlessly, Miss Dorkaka. Sniff. Chomp. Her ears twitched as she tested the blade's quality. Finally, she gasped, 5,000 crocs. Golly, we'll offer 5,000. Emma nodded sagely. Expected for the hero's sword. Gao Yi's mind raced. A single croc buys 20 kilograms of rice. This could end food insecurity forever. The old shopkeeper hissed, "Manager, our vault only has 5,300 total." Dorkaka patted his arm. "Just trust me, Uncle Hans. But if we empty the coffers, the big guy will." Gao-e launched into his performance. Here I was thinking Miss Dorkaka would recognize the value of my compassionate heart and issue a fair, objective price. He shook his head mournfully. But it seems I was mistaken. The old shopkeeper nearly leaped across the counter. "You're really overdoing it, Mr. Gordon. There's no way our manager, a dassy demi-human with expert metallurgic senses, would misidentify a simple sword's value. This is no mere frozen hunk of metal. The Imperial Sword of Justice is a legendary grade weapon containing immense power." He paused for effect. "If the base materials alone are worth 5,000 crocs, then the divine energy it stores must be valued at." His eyes locked onto Dorkaka's. 20,000 crocs. Emma's gasp echoed through the shop. Even she hadn't expected such an astronomical sum. The old man completely lost his composure. "Have you gone mad? Those are exorbitant demands. Manager, I'll drive this swindler out of." But before he could finish, Dorkaka slammed a freshly inked contract onto the counter with surprising force. "Golly. Here's the transaction document for the 20,000 croc withdrawal." Her bunny ears stood straight up in determination. Just trust Dorkaka to deliver that cash within 10 days. The parchment gleamed with fresh ink, clearly displaying withdrawal sum, 20,000 crocs. Beneficiary, Gordon G. Paywood. Gao Yi's mind raced as he weighed the pawnshop's offer. I underestimated this sword's value, but pushing for more risks angering whatever shadowy figures backed this operation. With no competing pawnshops nearby, I'd better secure this deal now. He rose dramatically, clasping Dorkaka's hands. "Your generosity will save this town's impoverished masses." The clink of gold coins still echoed through the shop as Gao Yi's hand shot out like a striking viper. Before Dorkaka could complete her count, he snatched both the bulging money bag and Emma's slender wrist in one fluid motion. "Your generosity moves me," Gao Yi declared, already backing toward the door while flashing his most disarming smile. "But the starving masses can't wait for proper accounting." The Jade Palace. Emma gaped at the marble-columned mansion, her fingers tightening on Gao Yi's sleeve. "Lord Hero, are we really staying here? This looks expensive." Gao Yi strode forward. What poor customer service for such a prestigious inn. A woman with blood-red lips exhaled smoke, eyeing them with disdain. "The Jade Palace doesn't accommodate commoners. Remove them." Two hulking guards advanced, each twice Gao Yi's width. "I came for civil discourse," Gao Yi sighed, "but since you insist." He snapped his fingers. Whoosh. A team of tailors flooded in, unfolding privacy screens with military precision. Two makeshift dressing rooms materialized in seconds. From one, Emma's shriek pierced the air. "Lord Hero, why are they undressing me?" "Relax," Gao Yi called from behind his own screen, the sound of rustling fabric accompanying his words. "World saving requires proper attire." The proprietress and her muscle-bound guards stood frozen, watching the spectacle unfold. What manner of maneuver is this?" she whispered. 1 hour later. The screens fell away to reveal a transformed pair. The madam's cigarette tumbled from her lips. Jinhuaxuan tailors? Their mobile service costs 1,000 crocs per fitting. Her eyes darted between their embroidered silks. Only the Count's inner circle can afford. Gao Yi adjusted his sapphire-stitched cravat, tossing a pouch to the head tailor. "Adequate work. 2,500 crocs, plus a 3-croc tip for your discretion." The tailor bowed deeply. "Serving Baron Gordon is our privilege." As his team withdrew, he added, "Should the stitching displease you, we'll remake everything within the hour." Gao Yi waved him off. "Another time. I'm fatigued from travel." The atmosphere shifted instantly. The madam lunged forward, her considerable assets pressing against Gao Yi's arm as she groveled. "My deepest apologies, Baron. This lowly one failed to recognize." He extracted himself with practiced ease, business before pleasure. "Just arrange suitable accommodations." "At once." She scurried off, hips swaying exaggeratedly. Gao Yi turned to Emma, only to find her catatonic, lips moving soundlessly. 2 outfits. 2,500 crocs. That's 50,000 kilos of rice. Hey! Snap out of it. We're just getting started. The door to their luxury suite swung open, revealing a room fit for royalty. Emma's eyes widened as she tentatively pressed a finger into the plush bedding. It's super soft, like cotton, she gasped, before launching herself onto the mattress. No, like soaring on cloud 9. Gaoi sat beside her, unimpressed. Baloney. It's harder than my world's spring mattresses. He eyed her incredulously. Just where have you been sleeping all this time? Emma rolled onto her back, her smile never fading. Luckier folks can trespass into pig pens, cowsheds, or even henhouses. The less fortunate sleep by the roadside. She folded her hands behind her head. But that's not so bad, you get to gaze at the stars. Her words struck a chord. Looking back. Snow fell in thick sheets, rattling the flimsy wooden shed where 2 children huddled together. A younger Gaoi, skinny, shivering, peeled off his threadbare coat and draped it over his sister's shoulders. Shao, she doesn't need your clothes, big bro, she protested, though her lips were blue. She's not that cold. Little Gao clenched his fists, his breath fogging the air. Just you wait. I'll earn enough to put you in a mansion someday. His sister threw her arms around him, giggling. Yeah. It'll be so big, maybe brother and I can sleep in one bed. Now. Emma beamed at him. You may not be the hero of justice I expected, but Emma considers you a righteous man nonetheless. Righteousness? What a bunch of baloney. Gaoi flicked a gold coin between his fingers, watching it catch the light. Whether you're saving the world or protecting those you love. His grip tightened. It all rests on a single thing. Gold. Dinner time has come. The lavish dinner table groaned under the weight of roasted meats, glazed vegetables, and steaming bread. Emma's stomach growled as she stared wide-eyed at the feast before her. Lord Hero, all this spending, isn't it wasting the pawn money? She asked, saliva pooling in her mouth. Gaoi smirked, swirling his wine. You'll dehydrate from all that drooling. Relax, it's all part of the plan. Every coin spent is for the world's salvation. His mind, however, raced with calculations. That big guy, everyone keeps mentioning, must be the local lord. Untouchable to commoners, but not to a fellow noble. If I can lure him out with a spectacle, he'll be my ticket into high society, and new business ventures. He took a sip, the rich wine bitter on his tongue. But in this backwater, flashing wealth carelessly would be suicide. First, I need to understand this town's economy. Rest early, Emma, he said, setting down his glass. Tomorrow we tour the town, and pump more money into circulation. Emma clutched her swollen belly. I've eaten to my fill. The Crocodile King. Elsewhere. A palace loomed over black waters, its spires piercing the moonlit sky. Inside, a man groveled at the feet of his master. Count Moto, the Crocodile Bay King, stroked the squirrel draped around his neck as he skewered a slice of meat. You must be starving after kneeling so long, he purred, offering the morsel. Try it. The trembling mayor shook his head. Sir Count, I only collected 800 gold crocs last month. The people have nothing left to give. The Count's smile didn't reach his eyes. Are you really going to disappoint me? The mayor's hands shook as he grabbed the meat. I'll eat it. Good. The Count gestured to a chair. Sit. This is first-rate Moon Lake beef, aged 30 months. Do you like it? Delicious, the mayor stammered. A snap of the Count's fingers, and 4 bruised women entered, bearing platters heaped with meat. The mayor paled. Sir Count, I can't possibly. You promised me 2,000 crocs monthly, the Count murmured, forcing him into the chair. And I hate broken promises. Clank. Manacles locked around the mayor's ankles. The table lurched, revealing a pit of thrashing crocodiles below. Finish it all in 15 minutes, the Count whispered, or you'll be dessert. The mayor screamed. Thornmail pond crocodiles. As the man frantically devoured the meat, the Count turned to a cowering Dorkaka. One mayor fails to collect taxes, while my little bunny spends 25,000 crocs in a day. Dorkaka's ears flattened. A dark stain spread across her skirt. "This sword, its power is beyond gold," she squeaked. The Count examined the blade, his squirrel chittering. A black woman materialized from the shadows, sleek, silent, lethal. Before Bunny could react, Count Moto flicked his fingers in command. "Phantom. Go recon on this Gordon." Her eyes gleamed, a predator locking onto prey. Then she was gone, dissolving into the dark like smoke. Count Moto clutched Bunny's ear, wrenching her face up as he hissed. "Now let me tell you something, my naive little bunny wabbit." His eyes narrowed, gleaming with cold amusement. "What's called nobility is nothing more than beasts draped in elegance. So tell me, how can such creatures possess goodwill? They're just as bloodthirsty as the rest." Meanwhile, back in town, Gowie flashed a grin at Emma. "Listen closely, dear girl." His voice dropped to a velvet murmur. "And take your clothes off." Emma struck a defiant pose, hips cocked, arms crossed beneath her chest, that somehow made her refusal even more enticing. "No. Tisk." Gowie clicked his tongue. "Weren't you just preaching about the priestess's duty to satisfy her hero's usual needs?" His thumb traced circles along her inner thigh. "I'll polish your sword. Cook your meals. Even wash your feet." Her face burned scarlet as his fingers crept higher. "But this..." "No." Emma shouted, but it was too late. Rip. Gowie pulled hard, tearing her stocking.
Then, without warning, he kicked her right into the bathtub, grumbling about how badly she reeked. Wrinkling his nose, he muttered something sarcastic about her last bath being a historical event. Our girl, wide-eyed and trembling, hesitated to get in fully, claiming she was terrified of cold water and possible snakes. But once she touched the water, she realized it was warm and shallow. A small miracle. She slowly relaxed, sinking into the warmth like a cat on a windowsill. While she soaked, the guy couldn't resist poking at her again, saying she never really had that. Just as things started to calm down, our girl shifted, and something warm and slippery wriggled up her thigh. She screamed, "There's a snake underwater!" Then she crashed straight into our boy's face in full-blown panic. Instead of discovering the hidden treasure, he just rolled his eyes and muttered, "Snakes don't hang out in hot water, genius." Moments later, something squirmed strangely in the bath, catching both their attention. That's when a red-haired woman casually appeared out of nowhere, cool as ever, and cleared things up. It wasn't a snake, just a fire slug. Totally harmless, not even poisonous. In fact, these native creatures cleaned the dirt and kept the water warm. Nature's own bath bomb. She then suggested they consider bathing at home from now on, like normal people. Our girl was baffled, trying to make sense of slug-powered hygiene. Meanwhile, the guy was already thinking of ways to cash in on these slug spa critters. But he wasn't done being bossy. He told our girl she couldn't leave until she washed up properly. She gave in with a sigh. A red-haired lady, clearly trying too hard, poured a drink for Mr. Gordon, not knowing exactly what he was doing there, but already plotting to seduce him. She wasn't subtle. Her plan? Turn him into her own walking treasure chest. She put on a show, tossing hair, flashing smiles, doing the most, and it worked. Gordon looked visibly flustered. But this wasn't her first rodeo. She got caught accidentally seducing, but spun it like an innocent wine spill. He was in a rush to learn about the city. Time was money, and he wasn't here to play. She introduced herself as Ms. Lanla, owner of the Jade Palace Inn. He asked for the city's deets, and she laid it out: Crocodile City, sitting right on the border of the Kingdom of Crocodile Bay. Swamp Central. Suddenly the whole crocodile symbol thing made sense. He asked what else the kingdom was known for besides oversized lizards. She said pond rice. Apparently, despite the swampy hellscape and low population, they somehow grew massive, sweet, sticky rice. Only nobles got the good stuff. Everyone else? Imported scraps and rice bran. Not even millet. The dude muttered that the whole place was basically rotting from the inside. Still, he gave Lanla credit. Running a fancy hotel in a cursed swamp? Girl had hustle. She confessed she picked this location because it sat near Purgatory, home of rare fire creatures. But not just any fire creatures. The molten dragon sparrow, aka a firebird from hell, lived in a volcano nearby. Its feathers? Pure magical dynamite. Perfect for crafting power staves. Anyone after those feathers had to crash at Jade Palace. But the clientele? Only two kinds, well-paid Royal Army mercs, and insane high-level adventurers who usually ended up dead anyway. She revealed the inn was drowning in debt, and Count Moto, the big shot running the kingdom, was circling like a vulture. She warned Gordon not to mess with the Count unless he had a death wish. Gordon just grinned like a man with a terrible idea forming. To him, danger meant profit. He quoted stuff about the gold rush in diamond mines, clearly planning something sketchy and ambitious. No turning back now. Later, he checked on our girl, who had finally finished her bath and was chilling in a robe, sipping from a mug like she'd just survived a war. She grinned and announced, "I lived." He sat down across from her and asked, dead serious, about his powers. Hero of virtue and all that. She blinked, surprised he was finally showing interest. A little shy, she cleared her throat and explained, 5 heroes, summoned from another world, tasked with saving theirs. Each got a book guiding their journey. Thing is, the book wouldn't spill the secrets unless the tasks inside were completed in order. And his first task? Save 100 people. He nearly choked on the absurdity. Our boy groaned. Who made that the tutorial level? But our girl reassured him. She'd already mastered healing magic and could form contracts with people and objects. Once bonded, she could summon them from her sea of consciousness, a magic storage unit. Even weapons and powerful items could go in there, though size and power had limits. That got his wheels turning. Could he store gold? A lot of gold? Cue a scene where they stood in front of a massive sack of coins. She explained that with the right pact, that bag could hold hundreds of millions. He didn't hesitate, asked her to make the contract. She blinked, asking if he was serious. He was. This wasn't just greed, it was seed money to save the world, he claimed. She nodded. Then, casually, she whipped out a knife. He flinched. Whoa, hold up, why the knife? She explained that you had to smear the item with blood to complete the contract. He winced harder, especially once he realized just how much blood was going to be needed. Healing spells wouldn't bring it back either. Eventually, she suggested a cleaner workaround: mix blood with water, dip each coin. Genius. Messy, but genius. The guy went ahead and performed the ritual just like he'd planned. Everything seemed fine at first. A couple of minutes later, our girl had to prep for the healing and yep, things went sideways. The moment she caught sight of the blood, she got dizzy. Our boy started to panic. Things were getting harder by the second, without healer. He clumsily wrapped the wound himself. It was messy and clearly not how it was supposed to be done, but he didn't have much of a choice. He snapped at her, telling her to get the hell up. But she was out cold. Desperate, he tried to lift her limp body, but she was completely unconscious. That's when it hit him, there was no way around this mess. So, he leaned over her and tried to help, hoping something would work. Still no response. The priestess wasn't waking up. Left with no better option, he gently kissed her. Yeah, it wasn't exactly in the plane, but desperate times, right? It worked. The girl stirred, blinking awake, and her eyes widened when she felt the warmth on her lips. Confused and totally caught off guard. Before she could fully process what just happened, our guy leaned in again, maybe going for round 2, who knows? Just then, with blood still dripping from his arm, he winced and asked her to help him stop the damn bleeding. But our girl? She wasn't having it. She shoved him away, hard. With a flustered face, the priestess explained that according to the Holy Guide of the Church of Destiny, sacred mentors weren't supposed to get all touchy-feely with heroes. Our boy looked at her like she'd just denied him water in a desert. I'm bleeding out, not asking for a hug, he snapped. Then, to his surprise, glowing green magic surrounded his wound and, in seconds, it vanished. Just like that. The bleeding stopped. He gawked at his arm, stunned. Holy crap, that was fast. His thoughts quickly turned entrepreneurial. If healing magic like that existed in his world, he could charge people out the nose for a sniff of it. He reached toward her. "All right, Emma, next step, hit me with that contract magic. Don't forget the gold coins, too." Emma stood tall, chest puffed out with pride. "Feast your eyes, hero. Check out what I can do." Emma, now standing tall with a golden staff. Despite the tension, the contract was signed. Mortal or not, our boy was now officially the hero of virtue, or something that sounded equally overblown. Our boy Gao stood behind a podium, looking like the weight of 1,000 prophecies had just hit him. A close-up on his face revealed just how broken he felt. His eyes practically screamed, "I'm not okay." They said a majestic figure had appeared before him, wearing a crown and holding our boy in her palms like he was a toy. It was weirdly comforting. Elsewhere, the priestess stirred as if something or someone had woken her. Meanwhile, our boy snapped awake, blinking hard. His hands suddenly began to glow, and just like that, he felt this wild rush of energy. He could feel himself bonding with coin on a spiritual level. By the next morning, Emma was still asleep, snuggled in her robe. She looked like she hadn't moved all night. Our boy smirked and decided to test out a new plan. Quietly, he picked up a loaf of bread. Then, without a second thought, he shoved that loaf straight into her mouth. The resulting scream? Absolutely blood-curdling. A man wailing in pain echoed dramatically against the backdrop of some fancy building. Once the chaos calmed down, the priestess, still chewing bread, asked what they going to do today. Our boy explained that the mistress of the hotel had mentioned danger in the city, so the game plan was to stock up on potions and medicine. As they walked, the priestess munched on chocolate like it was holy sacrament, casually commenting that everyone they met so far seemed like good folks. Our boy wasn't so sure, but let her have her moment. He pondered how the presence of a luxury hotel in such a tiny town implied that its owner had unusually high standards or shady secrets. Eventually, the two of them stepped into a dusty old apothecary. The priestess asked about healing potions. To which the apothecary, scratching his mustache, said he'd just sold one yesterday. He eyed our boy's snazzy clothes and silently calculated his profit margin. Jackpot. The shopkeeper pulled out 3 dusty vials and called them a bargain. Our boy, eyebrow raised, inspected them. He said the price wasn't too bad, but only if they weren't hot garbage. The seller got a little too eager and threw in an offer: 30 high-quality potions for 45 crocodile coins. But just as he went to hand them over, our boy told him to hold the hell on. He looked pleased with the deal, but skeptical. Something smelled fishy, and it wasn't the potions. The vendor started sweating. Then, in a moment straight out of a drama, our boy whipped out a vial from his own pocket. He began explaining how healing potions were tricky to make, and worse, fragile in transit. Bad transport meant crappy potions, and fake potions meant someone was going to get slapped. He poured the contents into a clean vessel, demonstrating that a true, potent healing potion should be a deep, glowing red. Not whatever this watery mess was. Our boy Gao added that these potions expired after a year and started to reek of blood once they turned. The vendor, apparently, had been masking that smell with incense. He concluded the potions were worthless, maybe 10% effectiveness if you were lucky. As far as he was concerned, verifying product quality was just good business. With a firm grip on the vendor's collar, our boy told him to start talking, no more games. The shady guy, cornered, was told that if his secrets got out, he was toast. He admitted he only pulled this risky scam to escape the hunt and pay off his tax debt, 2 months overdue and counting. He fell to his knees in begging for mercy. Our boy Gao gave him an ultimatum: fetch legit potions or kiss your life goodbye. 30 coins for good potions. Or death. Guess which one the guy picked. Later, the vendor came back with a tray full of genuinely high-quality potions. Our boy examined them, said he'd do a test if needed, then asked the man to pack them up. The seller quoted a ridiculous price, 120 gold coins, and claimed anything less would ruin him. His policy? Every fake costs 30 coins. Our boy casually threatened to tell a certain Moto about the scam. That name alone made the seller nearly wet himself. Realizing who our boy might be connected to, the man begged him to take all the stock and just walk away. With the priestess by his side, our boy scooped up the goods, telling the seller to stop screwing people over. She smiled at him, proud and amused. After that, they headed to the weapons shop. This time, the goods were legit, genuine, high-quality stuff. Items that should have emptied their wallets somehow only cost them 30 gold coins. But they didn't stop there. As they left the store, the seller was left behind, crying in pure shame. Honestly, the poor guy looked like he just watched his entire career crumble in front of him. They kept going, wandering through the town and somehow continuing to score ridiculous deals. It got so absurd that even the priestess had to ask why were people practically throwing goods at him like he was some kind of noble. He told her it was his charming baby face. Merchants thought he was adorable and dropped prices like idiots. He then burst into tears of joy. The priestess stared at him, half worried, half amused, and whispered that he was being just a little bit dramatic. Our boy started comparing himself to some lonely god, untouchable, unmatched, just vibing above the rest of the mortal trash heap.
Stay tuned. Things are only getting more interesting with each chapter. Don't forget to like and subscribe.